Welcome to Inside Builder channel. How to use LLMs and AI for time series analysis of M5 dataset. This is part 2 of multi-part series on time series dataset with Cursor Agentic IDE. We will be looking at collecting, cleaning, and EDA with Cursor IDE. As I already told, we will be looking at these 3 steps, especially loading, cleaning, and understanding of the data with exploratory data analysis of M5 dataset. If you guys are wondering what is M5 and what is this dataset is all about, you can look at the earlier video that I have already posted on this series of videos, and you can also visit the link that will be shared in the description below, which will take you to the M5 forecasting dataset in Kaggle. So you can visit that also. This is actually an old dataset, but we are using this for one important purpose, that is to develop a reasonably good time series prediction model to get a reasonably good understanding of future forecasts. So that's our objective. So reasonably good model, you understood that, right? We are not trying to get to the top in the leaderboard. Okay, the idea here is that whether we can use Cursor to even try to climb in this kind of a leaderboard and see whether we can come closer to these kinds of the models that has been developed by the people who are really good in these kinds of time series analysis, right? Yeah, I know we are comparing to the best. That's how you should start, right? So let us see where this goes. We are going to download the dataset. So I have already joined this competition, and I have downloaded this dataset. So it's 450 MB, and I have already kept it in my M5 forecasting accuracy folder. Okay, and this is the chat Cursor interface, and I will be using the chat interface. I will not be using the compose interface because I want a better control of what is happening. So yeah, that is the reason why I use chat interface. And what I'm going to do is I am going to first of all start by giving the data that is already available with us. So if you scroll down, you can see that here we have the requirement. So you will use hierarchical sales data from the Walmart, the world's largest company by revenue, to forecast daily sales for next 28 days. The data covers the stores so and so, and it includes this information. So I just copy this and keep it with me first thing. Okay, and next is if I scroll down, you can see that it actually gives the details of the various data updates, and also it actually gives the details of the data. So if you go to the data part, you can see what the files contain. So take these things, both of these things, okay, and go back. So let us update this. So right, so the first thing is we are going to use the hierarchical sales data from, I'm going to update this. We are going to use the hierarchical sales data from Walmart, the world's largest company, and we are going to forecast the daily sales data for next 28 days. We are going to just copy paste it here. The data is provided in the CSV format, and it is present in the, so I will be giving the folder name M5 forecasting accuracy. In the folder, I think it will work. Yeah, it's working. So I'm going to give the folder name directly, M5 forecasting accuracy. The data description is as below. I'm not writing any fancy kind of a prompt here. I'm just using something that is already available with me, and I'm using plain English, right? I'm not doing anything different here, right? I have created this, and I'm going to tell that this is the important point. I'm going to say to do only the first step. So if I go back, what is the first step? I want to just load the data. I don't want to do anything else. Okay. The important point of using the LLM and AI for any of the analysis, not just time series, is to go at a very step-by-step process. Actually asking it to do everything by going through the composer option can be little catastrophic. Okay, let us not do that, and let us go step by step. So I'm going to say, help me to write the code for just loading the data and looking at the columns and contents of 5 to 10 rows. I'm being very specific about this because I want the model also to get the context of what is going on, right? So it has to go through this process, and I can also give the context back to the model and keep it in the memory. So that's how I'm going to do it. Let me execute this, and I will get a Python file for this. Okay, and you can see that it is also reading the file. I'm pretty sure it's trying to read the file, and it is starting to write the Python file, and you can see it has done a basic Pandas load process and nothing much. It's a pretty simple thing, right? So it has created examine data frame, and we are giving it a data frame. The data frame is loaded using the read CSV here, and let us start by creating a new file. Okay, I think we need to create it here. So let me create a new file, just loading data.py, nothing else, right? Keeping it simple is very important because we are not trying to automate the process right now. Okay, we are trying to use the AIs or the agentic LLMs to do the time series analysis that is having tabular data. Okay, so keep this in mind continuously. I'm not trying to show you how good is cursor or how best is agentic ID. No, that's not my intention. I am only trying to show you guys that use this technology so that you can speed up your process. Okay, so keep this in mind again and again. So I have done that, and let us execute it. I think it should work. So it should actually give me the couple of details that it will have. I already have Pandas installed, so I don't need to actually do anything else. Let me do Python and just loading data. So that should give me the data loaded, and it should give me the details of the columns that is present inside the various files that you see here: calendar, sales train, evaluation. So I think it will be, this will be a little bit better right now, but I cannot actually maintain this zoom level. So I hope that you guys can take a look at the file names if you have a higher resolution in your YouTube. So let us give it a moment. So so you see that the data got loaded, and it actually got loaded. It is updating. Okay, that is one file that has got a lot of columns. So that's a huge number of columns, right? And there is another one file that is having just there is another one file with 1947 columns, and there is a file with 4 columns and 6 million plus rows. Okay, you can get a lot of information, right? So and we know that the data is pretty huge already, correct? And we have started in a good step. So we have seen the calendar data also, and calendar data is pretty small. I suppose it's having just 14 columns, and it has total 1969 rows and 14 columns. So we have got a good understanding of the overall data available with us. Next, what you're going to do is we are going to ask it to create a script separately again to clean the data so that we can use it for data understanding in EDA. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to touch this just loading data.py. Okay, so the way I approach the problems is by splitting it. So you split a problem into smaller problems, and then you ask the LLM to do it for you. You're not going to do it. I can actually do it by myself, I know that, but when LLMs can do it, why not? Okay, so okay, thanks. Now take the data sets inside M5 and help to clean them of missing values, null values, holidays. So basically we are trying to impute, make some imputation, do some kind of modification to the data set. So you can use the various data imputation techniques to do that. Imputation techniques to clean the data. Do list the techniques you are using. As comments, and write a separate script for this, named as just cleaning data, right? I'm not doing anything else, correct? Also, I can say the data will be next used for EDA in the next step. This actually gives a context to the model, that what we want and what we are going to do with the data set and how we want it, right? We are doing all of these things. So let us execute that. M5 Claude Sonnet is, the Claude 3.5 Sonnet is a very good model, and it gives a very, very good code generation. So do try it out, and you will find that it doesn't let you down. It does let you down in a couple of times. You need to understand what it is doing wrong, and then with its comments, whichever is getting updated, right, you'll be able to figure out, okay, if it is doing something blatantly wrong, then you can correct it. So here you can see that it is creating a clean data function. It is using some kind of imputation processes to impute the data, and yeah, you can see that it is separately storing it to a file. So it will be saved. The data will be saved with clean suffix and can be used for the EDA in the next step. So the file is getting saved. This is very important for us. Okay, not just show us what is happening. It has to tell what it is doing. So it's cleaning the prices, sales, calendar, and it is also telling us the shape also. Okay, so what happened to another two models? So here it's not actually looking at okay, so why it is not looking at the other things? Just a minute. So it is looking at the sale prices.csv. So it is looking at this data. I have got the Excel. Okay, so let me close this. So you see, sometimes because of the huge amount of data present, the cursor can crash. Okay, so I'm going to say reopen. So it will take a moment to reopen. This is a pretty normal thing. So don't worry about that. Everything will be saved, and you can continue, because this data, the moment you complete the chat generation, right, it gets saved in the cursor database. I mean, in your in the internet, in the cloud. So it's not locally saved. So you don't need to be worried about that. So I think we cannot actually look at the file directly because it's very heavy. But actually, we can look at the sales price using the data that is already released. Anyway, let me actually copy this and begin the process. So let me create a file. I am going to say just cleaning data. If your RAM is better and if your processor is having a higher performance, then this should not be a problem. So just cleaning data, I'm clicking that. So it is updating it here. So it's reading the train validation, sell prices, and calendar. It is not reading the uh, okay, it is reading the validation data frame, but it's not reading the evaluation. So evaluation is not doing it, but it is working on the train as well as the sell prices. So it is not working on the other two, the submission and the train evaluation is not doing. It makes sense. It's logical, right? It's not required right now. So here we can see it is looking at the varieties of columns and it is trying to see whether it has to be imputed in some way. Okay, and it is trying to update those things also, whether it is a cultural, national holiday, has holiday. It is looking for events and it is updating it, and it is looking for null values, negative values, and it is looking for imputing the NaN values here using the simple imputer. The same thing is done for the pricing data. Okay, it has done a good, pretty sturdy job here. I shouldn't complain anything. Okay, so it has done a good job. So let us continue to the next step. Let us execute this. Okay, that is our next step. Right, so we are going to say just cleaning data. Cleaning data.py. So that is going to take the data and it is going to clean the data. I think there could be some kind of error that can pop up if the column names are not properly taken up. So if that comes up, it's always better that you do a column name extraction using the columns attribute in Pandas and then give it to the model. I mean, add it to the context so that it will be there in the memory and the model will use it for rest of the analysis. Okay, this is something that I've been coming across quite often. Model, as you see, there is a lot of columns, right? You see there is almost 1900 columns here. Okay, it's a pretty huge number. So it can miss. A model doesn't have that much long context also. Correct. So it can miss, but the entire process of analysis that is happening in the backend is not done through the model. Keep that in mind. It is actually done through the agents or the actual Python code, which is looking at these data using Python backend. Okay, keep that in mind. The reason you might look, okay, it's all done by AI. No, it's not. It's actually having Python at the backend. So if you're thinking, okay, how these things are happening, you can actually look at the videos in my playlist. If you go to the playlist on Crew AI, where you can see that I have a considerable amount of videos on Crew AI, you will understand how this works. And also you can look at my Python bootcamp demo where I discuss these things in detail. So let us go back to cursor, and it is right now working on the pricing data and it is cleaning it, and I think it is also storing the data somewhere. Okay, the storing the data will happen after the cleaning process. So you can see that it is cleaning the data one by one. Just a second. So it is going into these functions one by one. So once it enters, it prints this data and then it will write the data. And after it writes, it will be sharing the shape to us, and then it will tell the overall outcome. Right now, my processor is running at high speed because the cleaning process is happening. Okay, I can actually show you the processor speed, but yeah, that will impact the scenario. So let me give